Hey everybody, and welcome back. Hope you guys are having a good day out there, but it is a red day, and we've still got a downtrend in play in the market, and it's definitely taken out some key support lines. So we're going to talk about that today. So definitely market turmoil out there, not only crypto but in stock market as well. That is down quite a bit over the last 3 weeks or so, and of course we're going to talk about the talk of recession fears, and of course tariff impacts that Trump is doing to renegotiate, reorganize, all that sort of stuff, and in his transitionary move. So we're going to talk about that. We're obviously going to get into the crypto markets, see how they're going. We're also going to get into Richard Hart and the Magic Carper ride balances. We're also going to be talking about PUSD ALGO and Signum, and also we're going to talk about Vox. Vox is out there at the moment with a big farm that's kind of at a stealthy launch and doing pretty well on Pulse Chain. So we're going to talk about Vox there. And then we're going to wrap it up with a summary of Titanx ecosystem as well, which will be under pressure from the Ethereum pullback, right? So we're going to talk about that and its ratio. And of course, where is Jake Sharp? Where's the leadership? But hey, look, I'm not surprised what's going on there. So the buy and burns are certainly getting bigger and bigger. We're going to recalculate how much buy and burn collateral there is to Titanx at the moment, given the fact the ratios are all going down there. So we're going to talk about that. So a lot of stuff. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you're new to the channels, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. If you love crypto every day, there's the channel to be on. If you love politics and other topics, we also talk about that on other shows as well that we're doing on this channel. So big shout out. Obviously, Brian's in the house, our community leader. Good to see you, Brian. So, folks, and we've got Hedgehog in there as well. PTFD there, PTFD is Hedgehog. MBS in the house there. He said it looks like he's a Vox fan. Vox is the new kid on the block there, says MBS. And Wookie as well. Hey, good to see Wookie. I hope you're doing well out there as well. And we've got Excavator from the good old US of A in the house there. Hey, gang, good to see you, Excavator. Welcome. Yeah, like I say, share the channel around. And if you want to join our Discord, the links are in the video description. We've got community Discord membership, which is $5 a month. And we've got Strategy Club, which is $35 a month. And then we've got one-on-ones with me. And we've got a new offering coming up soon. So getting the Discord links in the video description. And I think I updated them yesterday, to be honest. What else there we got? Get the Vox out of here, says Wookie. Absolutely. Get out of here. All right. So not bad. That is the link there. Brian's got the link to the Discord. Join up today. Check it out and become part of our community. We're going to be continuing to focus on growing, but we want really good people and enjoy the journey in the crypto market, the ups and the downs. And of course, at the moment, we've got some downs. So it's a good place to be if you want to talk strategy and talk about how the market's down or something like that. So yeah, definitely get on that. All right, so without further ado, let's start off with the stock market. It is a Monday's results, right, for the US of A and the stock market. And here we go. The S&P 500 slumps as recession fears grip the Wall Street. Now, yesterday when we looked at the market futures, but before they opened up, we knew that the market was going to be down about at least 0.5%. That was the indication. Well, actually, the Dow Jones, they all went down much bigger than 0.5%. The Dow Jones went down 2% on Monday. 890 points down to 41,900. Now, I've got the chart here on the monthly, and you can actually see that that's down from about 44,500 down to 42,000 more or less. So that is about 5.5% down inside like 3 weeks. So there we go. That is the impact on the stock market there. So a decent correction. We've got S&P 500 is down 2.7% today, 155 points to 5,600. And we used to be up here at about 6,130. So that's down about 500 points. And then we got the NASDAQ as well. That is down 4% today, which is a pretty big move down for the NASDAQ. Let's not be foolish there. That's a big move. And that is 728 points down to 17,468. And we were up here at 20,000. So that's about 2,500 points on the NASDAQ. So that is pretty significant. 2,500 points is pretty big there. So, it is what it is. And that's about 12.5% on the NASDAQ. So the tech company sector has really been corrected there. That's a significant correction over 10%. So 12.5% there. really cooling off the stock market for sure, right? So there we go. Any case, Trump's obviously in the mix there, trying to do a transition. He's got a lot of problems to fix up, and he's doing a lot of things to shake things up so that he can put the United States and I would argue the world on a better footing. That is, but in the meantime, the market's not liking it, right? So the market's not liking it. Sentiment was hit further by President Trump. Didn't rule out the possibility of a US recession this year. Now, remember, recession is 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. So that is what he's talking about there with his policy changes. He's flagged short-term economic turbulence from his trade and fiscal agenda, and he's talked about that on the Sunday morning features there on Fox. So that is what's sort of shaking the market up a little bit there. When asked about the possibility of recession, Trump said he did not wish to make predictions, stating that there was a period of transition because what we're doing is very big. So obviously, short-term pain for long-term big gain. That's kind of where we're heading there. The golden age of America is going to start off a bit shaky to reorganize things, which is not surprising there. Trump imposed 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada last week, but later exempted most of the goods for a month, creating uncertainty around his trade policies. Not less uncertainty, but more about negotiation, right? So for using tariffs to renegotiate with Mexico and Canada, essentially what he's doing there. The US president also increased tariffs on Chinese goods, which prompted retaliatory levies from China. He is set to implement worldwide reciprocal tariffs on April the 2nd, which could further erode market sentiment. So that this is supposed to be a pretty good golden age in the cycle, remember, March and April. But because Trump's doing this has sort of changed the whole game now. So while we were expecting some pretty good altcoin rallies in March, April, those have pretty much been knocked over to at least April now. And so that's kind of where we are. We'll just have to adjust to the time frame there. Now, one thing I would say about that is, there was talk about Chinese talking about we're prepared for any eventuality, including a war. And then, of course, we hear the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth saying, "Well, we're prepared for war," and of course, then the Chinese the next day back down. So that's another win there for the United States. A peace through strength. Elsewhere, markets were assessing the outcome of leadership election in Canada. A ruling Liberal Party, of course. Former central banker Mark Carney won 86% of the votes to succeed Justin Trudeau as the country's prime minister, topping ex-finance minister Chrystia Freeland, which is another sidekick from Justin Trudeau. Carney hit out at Trump in an address following the ballot, saying he's attacking Canadian workers, families, and businesses. Now, obviously Justin Trudeau was the worst leader we could possibly imagine in the West, just about, and Carney's not going to be much better. And of course, what they're going to try and do is use Trump as the enemy so that they can try and stay in power for a 4th term, even though they're kind of running a dictatorship at the moment, right? So there's no parliament session. And then the other one, of course, is that Pierre Poilievre, which is a conservative leader, who I think is a pretty good candidate. Now, I don't agree with 100% of his positioning, but I think he's pretty good conservative. I would call him a moderate conservative, and he has been leading in the polls, right? So it'd be interesting to see whether they can try and use the mainstream media there, try and get Carney in with this us versus Canadians versus Trump type of approach. We'll see whether the Canadians fall for that or actually they go for Pierre Poilievre, which is is common sense and the right direction, right? So move away from Marxism, globalism, towards good mixed capitalism, let's say, and liberty as well. So fingers crossed that people don't fall for that trick and they vote for Pierre Poilievre. Now, the other one, of course, we've got inflation coming up. This is pretty big as well. Obviously, interest rates are a big key input into the economy. So we've got the interest rates, the consumer price index coming out for Wednesday. And that will be a full month after Trump's administration as well. Although we know it takes a lot longer than that for impacts on prices to flow through. Economists anticipating headline inflation called to not 2.9% from 3%. That would be a pretty good number to get, actually, below 3%. And remember, the target is 2%. Month on month, it is seen to be easing marginally from 0.3% from 0.5%. So they are expecting some improvements around inflation there. The number will be among the last of the Federal Reserve that the Federal Reserve receives before its next policy gathering, which is on March the 18th and 19th. Central bank pushed pause on an easing cycle at its last meeting there. So we're going to see what happens there as well. Now we are also getting some We got some employment data as well. A slew of other crucial economic indicators are set to release this week, including the all-important consumer price index and the jobs opening and labor turnover survey. This follows Friday's official monthly jobs report, which showed the U.S. economy added 151 jobs in February, slightly below expectations, with the unemployment rate edged up to 4.1%. So there's plenty of people out there apparently looking for work. That's kind of the play there at the moment on CPIs. We're getting a lot of economic data this week, and of course that will flow into interest rates, and of course also big tech there, big tech, including semiconductors like Nvidia Corporation and Broadcom, led the move lower, and the broader market concerns about enterprise spending as recession fears gather steam. So when they start talking about recession, this always, the market always overcorrects. So that's kind of what we're seeing at the moment. Seeing the market go down, down, down. All right, so that is kind of some of the key stuff there. Brian says 86%. Wow, yeah. Can you believe it? Fingers crossed that Polyev holds up there, because who needs another 4 years of Marxists and globalists wrecking Canada? So hopefully Polyev wins there. All right, so that leads us to crypto, and the markets continue to bleed out here. So Bitcoin there breaking below 80K. We're at 79,717, down almost 1%. Market dominance is risen to 59.82% of Bitcoin. So that's definitely around the highs at the moment, local highs. We got ETH at the moment at 1891, down 5.8%. Now that's going to be more relevant later on, because we're going to talk about Pulse Chain's Magic Carpet Ride money with the sacrifice money. So we'll talk about that and see where that is at the moment. BNB is down 3%. At $535. Solana down 5% at $119. Litecoin is also down, was at 6.5% to $88. Suchain down 8% to $2.10. Tron down 1.2%, 23 cents. And XRP down 3.6% at $2 there. So those are kind of our leaders. And it's another red day here on a Monday in the US. So just the way it is. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, zoom on that. Now, obviously, we broke down the 200-day moving average on Bitcoin. You can see here the blue line. The blue line, it is currently $85,700 for the 200 moving average. We have broken that, which is not a great sign. And here we are down at 79,550. We actually went as low as 77,389. And as you guys know, my horizontal support line here is at 72,500. So let's see if we hit that. As you can see, that used to be previous resistance, a lot of horizontal resistance at that level. So we'll see whether we can bounce off that level there, 72.5. If it does indeed go down that far, that is where we are at the moment. Now, obviously, a lot of pundits out there have been calling for a bigger correction in March, and that is the end of the correction cycle. And that would get us down to about 62, 63K. And we've got that in here, right? Got that here. And someone was watching show yesterday also wanted that number in there, so to speak. So that is where we are on that one. So we'll see how we go here. Obviously, for value, you don't really want to go too far down unless you're buying, right? Unless you're buying. So that's kind of where we're at the moment, and we'll see how we go. That leads us into the Bitcoin month. Well, we're now down 6.5% for March. We were down 17.4% for February. So instead of getting some nice little altcoin season, we've got Rec season instead. And obviously Trump there doing a lot of rejigging, as it were. Now, obviously, it's annoying to have that in crypto, the impacts of stock market and crypto, but obviously we know it's for the better good for those that are keeping up to date on his strategy. It's a bit of pain, short-term pain for long-term gain. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Sometimes you can't have all your eat all your lunch at the same time or something. I don't know. Can't remember the phrase. Anyway, we've seen a lot of ETF money flow out, as you can see. This is the ETF inflows, and you can see it's all negative net negative. And of course, we've even had $1 billion days going out. Yesterday, we had 409 million going out of Bitcoin. So just that's the way it is on the outflows. Net assets 78. So we can see the price. Those prices of Bitcoins going down in yellow here from back over 100,000. We can see that we've mostly had outflows here in the ETFs there as well. So pretty big. We can see IBIT is a big part of that, as well as GBTC and FBTC there. Arkham is actually pretty green, and interesting that Arkham is actually green because Was it Kathy Griffiths? That's not her name. Kathy, I think it's from Arkham. I can't remember her last name, but she said that institutions are really coming on board. So that's a little glimmer of hope for the future. As you guys know, I'm expecting quite a bit of capital to come into Q2. That'll be April to June, and that's from talk on the streets about that. So still expecting some big stuff coming in June there. So that's the ETF flows. So obviously, money exiting at the moment. We see that in the chart. I mean, it's a contributing factor as well. But on a positive, besides talk about institutions being fully on board, and of course that takes time for them to all get in. But basically, the door is open. Michael Saylor is also out there continuing to accumulate because he sees the big picture for Bitcoin. So we have a short-term pullback, but he sees the big picture. And of course, he now announced 11 hours ago a strategy announcement of 21 billion Stark shares there at the market program, Mister. So they're going to be raising more capital, 21 billion, and going to be buying. You guess what? A big amount of the money is going to be used to buy more Bitcoin. So Michael Saylor getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and of course he's following off on the crypto council there. So even though the markets are down today, we've got positive signs coming from key players in the market. That they're either buying or they know buyers that are going to be coming in, and at the moment they're going to get cheaper prices to get Bitcoin, right? So just the way it goes. Just like we had also the US states, that we talked about them, particularly looking to buy 5 to 10% of their budgets. They're rushing through bills through the United States. That money is all going to start flowing in, and of course they will be able to get more Bitcoin than then. So we talked about 242,000 Bitcoin potential, but that would be way higher now with the price down. That'd be over 300,000 Bitcoin buying potential there coming from the US states alone, at least the ones that have approved the bills, which we think is about a dozen or more at least. So it could be some big buying power coming in there as well. So not only do we have special vehicles like Michael Saylor's and Arkham and stuff, we've also got obviously the US states and many other players coming into the market. So there are dips in the game and downtrends, uptrends, all the same. So that's kind of where we are there. Ethereum. Ethereum's been brutal, on Ethereum. So 80K Bitcoin, you can't cry too much, right? But Ethereum, they're definitely getting hit, and it hasn't had the same glorious moves, I would argue. The highest we got to locally was 4,100 back on the 14th of March there. We also had a double top there on the 15th of December. But really, we haven't taken out the previous all-time high from the previous market, which was 4,900 back in November 21. So we still haven't had that glory. And so here we're getting another big, significant dip. If you look at that, significant dip. Now, I think once we get past this, there's going to be a very big rally in Ethereum. I still think that's going to be the case moving forward. Now that we've got strategic Bitcoin reserve and we've got the altcoin stockpile from the US government, I think that's going to just we've got institutional support as well and ETFs for Ethereum. I think we're going to have a good day eventually in this chart here, and it's going to go up to the moon. But at the moment, it is down. So at the moment, it's around $1,870, and we're basically in this zone here, right? This horizontal resistance zone, and of course that is good buying value at the moment. Obviously, if we broke 1850 or whatever we are at the moment, we could potentially get down to the $1,600 mark, even down to 1,500 to 1,600 here if we did break that again. Now, we did have a golden cross, a death cross, right? You can see that all the way back here on the 13th of February. And we have come down a lot since then. So since this is a death cross, we've been down about 40%, which is pretty amazingly huge, right? That's pretty big for one of the majors. So pretty big there. Hexvader says Kathy Wood. Yeah, I was trying to remember her name. Yeah. What did I say? I called her something else. Can't remember now. It was a comedian, right? The one, the crazy comedian. Kathy Wood, that's the one. Thank you. All right, so that is where the markets are at the moment. That's going to lead us into Pulse Chain. And of course, Richard Hart's been posting out at least fairly regularly. Today, this is about 15, 16 hours ago. He posted this about what do you say Ethereum? And of course, he's got the Pulse Chain, all the Pulse Chain being up. So Richard Hart coins being up, which is pretty cool. It's a good sign. And he's got the Pulse X versus Pulse ratio there as well. Or Pulse X, sorry, price doing pretty well in the midpoint there. So he's pretty happy with that. Obviously holding up Pulse Chain, which leads us into the Pulse Chain results at the moment. and they were green before the live stream. They've just gone slightly red now. But day 668, we got Pulse at quadruple 0349, down 1.6% at 3500th of the sacrifice, or 35% of the sacrifice there. We got PulseX at quadruple 0326, down 1.2% at 32% of the sacrifice price. And we got the buy and burn sitting at 1,303,000,000,000. PulseX is being bought up and burned at 6.56% of the public supply now. And Signum token $1.95 is actually up 7800th of a percent, and that is the ratio is 55,740 pulse per one incentive token. The amount of inflation 55 million, and we've only got 5% of the inflation that we used to have. And of course, the PulseX farm yields have gone down pretty dramatic, as Wookie would tell you. So they're very much gone down. Hex at the moment is at 9/10 of a percent, 9/10 of a penny. That is down 8600th of a percent, and EHEX is down at 2800th of a penny, and the combined price EX and PX is just under 1.2 cents there at the moment. So those are Richard Hart coins. And looking at the gas prices, how we're doing there, 3.7 million beats. So we're getting used to this, right? Much higher, multi-million beats at the moment on the guy, and we've got 5 cents for a PulseX swap. So we're kind of getting used to that. We've got a lot more activity on the chain. 48,000 validators, so we had a big jump in validators overnight. That's pretty cool to see. So liking that. Yeah, looks like pretty good. Looks like a couple hundred, 200-300 more validators overnight, so that's a good sign. And the bridge is adding at just under 101 million, obviously being dragged down by the Ethereum and the bridge and the wrap Bitcoin as well. And of course, EHEX also getting dragged down. Even DAI is down a little bit, actually, 26.2 million. So what was that yesterday? 26.6 was it? Something like that. So it looks like it's down a couple 100,000. So yeah, getting dragged down. Still over 100 million though. Holding on there at the moment. So Pulse not doing pretty well, given the fact that the rest of the crypto market's down quite a bit. And looking at the volume, 37.5 million last 24 hours, and 330,000 transactions on the old Pulse chain. And let's see how it's compared to some of the other chains. Yeah, we're sitting at number 5 at the moment on Deck Screener. Yeah, so interesting. And we've got quite a few exotic coins being launched. We just had this new one, Dodge Father, I should say, that's launched 10 hours ago. That's up 18,800%. And of course, I'm not endorsing any of these, of course. Just take that into account. It's got a lot of positive rockets. A lot of people like it for some reason. Has it got any security thing? It doesn't really tell us. Quick intel, no issues, whatever that is. And the website there, I don't know. Is this one of the Finvestor tokens? Let's have a look here. I'm not sure. The Dodge Father. It's got Elon Musk there as well at the moment. So billion supply tokenomics does have a team. It does have a team apparently. John Dodgerson, Maria Woofer, Robert Barker, and Luna Puppington. I have no idea. Are they real? Are they real? But anyway, that's the team, and that's been launched there. So anyway, be careful out there. But it's pumping big time. Most wanted, of course, is from Pump.Tires. That's doing pretty well over a month now, up 90% today. BFF is up as well, 19%. Doubt Token's been around for about a month. These are all from Pump Tires, right? Up 11%. Loan Token, which is from Liquid Loans, obviously launched Fetch Oracle a couple of days ago, and that is up 9% at the moment off the bottom. And of course, Finvestor, which we've been covering quite a bit, that is a whole ecosystem of tokens, and they've been performing pretty well, I think, for the most part, at least some of them for sure. And that's up. It's at $40 at the moment, up 8.5%, so not too bad there. A Troper, I've got a Troper contract there. Is that the real one? Yeah, that's up 7% almost as well. Teddy Bear, the big meme coin there, and backed by Moon King, the influencer, and of course, I think created by James Maria, the founder of Atropa. So Atropa and Teddy Bear seem to be up. So these kind of investors kind of inspired from, I think, from Atropa to some degree, but Atropa and Teddy Bear are up 6% as well. So they seem to be dominating these protocols. People seem to be liking them, and they seem to be performing pretty well there at the moment. We got Solid X up at up 3.5%. Now we haven't seen the crash game that was expected, right? So we haven't seen that at all. And PDI Maker is at $20. That is also up. If you're into the PDI Maker theory, that is also up there at $20, up 3.5%. So we've got a few little things moving around there as well. Yeah, and a couple of gains and some of the other more regular ones we're used to seeing. So that's kind of where we are there at the moment. and so on. Now, we're going to talk about the Magic Carp ride, and the Magic Carp ride at the moment is down 50%. Ho hum, ho hum. Can you believe it? So the entry price was $3,773. This is the sacrifice Ethereum, and the current price is 1872. And so the value is down 50.4%, 325 million US dollars. And of course, it started off at 645 million, now down 324 million, down to 321 million. So, man, this is crypto. This is the way it goes. Now, the price level that we are now. Well, we were in Discord some time ago, and we were going, well, isn't this the time when you'd buy it, buy Ethereum? But no, the Magic Carp Ride wallet bought it at 3,700. We were a bit confused there. Now, at the time, obviously, of course, it looked like a good chance that the ETH was going to break out and start, breaking its all-time high and stuff. So I guess there's a reasonable rationale there. But really, before the move even happened, we were like wondering why didn't the money get transferred to ETH even earlier? So that was a conversation we had some time back. But anyway, that's the way it is, and it's down with the market. So if you're down at the moment, well, so is the Magic Carp Ride. It's down 50%, and so it's not immune either. So we'll have to wait for that part of the Magic Carp Ride to play out in the future once Ethereum recovers, right? So it'll be later in the year. So that's kind of where we are there. The other one, of course, is PUSD ALGO. We're talking about Fetch Oracle launching. We're waiting for the Signum Oracle to launch. That is all ready. And of course, Stu's just getting his ducks in a row for when he wants to launch it. And we're very excited about that. That's obviously a key enabler for ALGO, PUSD ALGO, the first algorithmic stablecoin that will actually be pegged to $1. And I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really cool. And also helps solve the scalability issue of stablecoins on Pulse Chain. Remember how a lot of them, all, like Liquidity Forks and that, are all sort of stuck in the platforms earning yield. Well, this is going to be a bit more, I think, free to do leverage as well as earning on the platform. We'll still have earning on the platform, but I think we'll have a lot more scalability issues there. And of course, ALGO is going to be main token, and PUSD will be the stable coin, and it's going to be double collateralized, right? Because it's going to be collateralized by stability miners, which are going to be full DeFi bots, but it's also going to be collateralized through USDL, the liquidity fork. So it's got a double layer there. The other thing with stability miner, we saw it operating about a year ago. It was incredibly efficient, and also was actually making money too. So it was pretty good. And of course, a stablecoin right now would be pretty good, pretty useful like this, where it's pretty much pegged to $1. So very excited about that. But it needs a Signum Oracle, and that would mean that it needs price calls, but it also needs a random number generator for the staking aspect to it as well. Yeah, we know that on the 17th of January, Jacob was going to give us an update once he sees the Signum Oracle up and running as expected. But I do think the Signum Oracle is very, very close. So hopefully we'll get that operating very, very soon. And I think this will be one of the bigger protocols on Pulse Chain. Definitely has the potential for that. And of course, could be very much linked into the big Mafia game that Jacob's running. And as you guys know, I'm playing that as well as the consigliere for the Directorate, the most powerful allegiance in the Mafia game. Now, one thing I was going to say is that you can participate in this at the moment. I know it's difficult times, perhaps, but if you're a believer, then you can get in now and get a 19% bonus. The link's in the video description for that. And if you do $1,000 or more, then you will get the second bonus X, which is up to 2X bonus. It's a random number as well. So that's a good way to go. Links in the video description for that. Now, apparently the docs are going to be changed, and pretty cool. Now, if you want to participate, you can use the link in the video description. Just copy this wallet. That's where you send it to, and you can send any tokens from Pulse Chain or Ethereum on this list, and you'll get credited for your points. Every dollar that you sacrifice, you get 20 ALGO, 200 Flex, and 0.1 Wrap PUSD. Now, these two reward tokens essentially on the platform, and ALGO is the main token on the platform. To give you an idea of that. And of course, the secret source is the stability miner. This is what's going to keep the stablecoin pegged, along with its backing to USDL. But also, there's going to be multiple earning platforms on here as well. The earn page, the stake page, everyone will be able to earn. And of course, anything you do on here, you earn Flex tokens, which is pretty cool. Now, the docs apparently are going to be changed and made to look like. So going from this format, they're going to be looking more like what we see with the Mafia game. So apparently that's coming up as well. So there we go. There's a little bit of update there. So check it out, and I've got videos on the channel, so you can just type in PUSD ALGO, and you'll find the old videos with Jacob that I had. Very good series. Whole time about eight short videos. Very, very cool to watch there, and you can read the docs as well, and then participate if you so will in the sacrifice. Just be patient with the timing. What we're expecting next on the roadmap is the Signum Oracle. If that's up and running nice, then Jacob's going to give us an updated plan for PUSD Algo. So that's kind of where we are there at the moment, and it's definitely gaining a lot more attention. We're seeing a lot more people get in the PUSD Algo chat as well, and I think people can see the big vision. This would be a major complement to PulseChain and a major complement to the existing stablecoins and DeFi platforms. So I think it has will have its very important role there and be the first algorithmic stablecoin, sort of a bit like Terra Luna, but done right, without the humans and bad mechanisms. All right, so that's kind of it for PUSD Algo. Links in the video description. Now, one of the projects that's been launching on PulseChain overnight was a Vox.finance, kind of a little stealthy one here. This is from the same team that did Pulsarlorian. And at the moment, the TVL's got up to $250,000 within 24 hours or so, just over 24 hours maybe. So $250,000. And the APRs are pretty attractive. So wrap Bitcoin Volks there is at 9,700%. That was like yesterday. It was like 25,000, 30,000% yesterday. So obviously more capital is coming into there. There's about 11K in that one. And obviously Vox is that's the platform token. So that's the one that's going to potentially move around more. So just take that note. It's a speculative farm. Basically what Vox is, a speculative farm there. And you can see the other peers. There's lots of different peers there. Vox DAI, Vox Pulse, Vox Incentive, Vox PulseX, and of course, then you start getting into other combinations: PulseX Incognito, Pulse DAI, PulseX Pulse, Incentive PulseX, and they've all got different yields. Some of them have got a lot of capital in it, like the incentive token PulseX has got 121,000 in there. And what that means is that if you don't want to take on the risk of the Vox token, which we'll talk about in a minute, you can just put in liquidity into PulseX V2, and you can put it in. So let's say you just put Pulsum DAI, you can put that into a PulseX V2 farm. Get your LP tokens from doing that. They'll be in your wallet, and then you can come and put them in this farm, right? And then you'll be able to claim the tokens as well. That's kind of the play there. Yeah, so that's kind of some stuff there. The other one, of course, is the price. The price at the moment, $2.59 on Vox. So you can sort of see the price chart there. There's on the hourly. Remember, this is speculative, but it's performing pretty well at the moment as well. I think is there a tax on this? I think there is. Let's have a look. Just confirm. I think MV, you're in the chat there. So I'm pretty sure there's a tax on this one, right? There's guides in the bottom anyway. There's guides at the bottom here. Has it got on the bottom? I'm just checking here. Thought there may be a text on this one. There's got a guide down here. I'm not sure what the guide says, but yeah, it's got guides, centralized exchanges, wallets, and dexes. So it just gives you a bit of a guide on that one. So you can go back to the farm there. It's got about page on here. You can read all about that. It's got the home page as well. So you can read all about that. And the farm is the main place there. So that is the farm there. I'll post a link in the chat, and so you guys check it out. The guys are talking about in Discord. So if you want to join Discord, you can do that and talk there as well. They're talking about the Vox in depth in the Discord chat, and the links to Discord are in the video description. Just another good reason why to join Discord is because we're pretty much covering all these projects all the time, and somebody's in some project at a particular time. So get in the chat for that. Hexavator says no tax on Vox there. Yeah, I heard MV talking about some tax. Maybe I got confused which one he was talking about there. Thanks for clarification. Vox is printing, says Hexavator. Indeed. MVS says Vox and Finvestor making PulseChain great again. Yeah, they're certainly leading the way, aren't they? These two ecosystems at the moment are what is hot over there. Has been for some time, actually, particularly for Finvestor, and Vox is the new kid on the block. A different team, of course, Vox is the best thing since price slice spreads, says MV. And who else we got in there? We got Justo as well. Vox is printing. There's quite a few people in the Vox here from looks of it in the chat. Yeah, and if you want to join our Discord, that is the link to join and become part of our community and get in there, talk about crypto, talk about politics, talk about all sorts of stuff. And we've got a very cool community there. MVS there, Finvestor to the moon. He says, yeah, it's doing pretty well. So Finvestor's doing pretty well. We talked about that earlier. And of course, people are earning Pulse into their wallet automatically from the volume. So it's been going pretty well. So that is, I'm just thinking about anything else I can say about this. This is a farm, so you have to put your liquidity in the PulseX V2, and then you get LP tokens from doing that, and then you can put your LP tokens in here, and so yeah, you earn fees in the V2, and then you can and then you will get earn farm tokens here, which is pretty good. Like at the moment, if you the wrap Bitcoin Vox is 9,700%. Obviously, you're taking the risk on from Vox, or whatever happens to that price. But you can just go in with tokens like PulseX Pulse if you don't want to take on that risk, and you're earning 1,700% at the moment, which is a pretty good yield. Now, PulseX at the moment's like what, 0.25%. So here you're earning 1,700%. So seems like a pretty no-brainer there. And the team apparently is trusted, so it's up to you what you do there. Just remember, your kit, not your keys, not your coins, or not your LP tokens. Now, MVS put up a nice little summary here on X. Highlight of the day, Vox.finance, deflationary game theory, small taxes for buy and burn and LP. Yeah, that's what got me confused there, saying there's no taxes. And amplify for exponential burns and yields. First mover advantage, high yields, high Vox price, more yield. TVL and liquidity drives pumps. Gold mine and depressive markets. Definitely, while the markets are down, it's definitely doing well. Trusted dev team, community trust and developers tied to figures like Pulsarian. Yeah, I think Pulsarian did pretty good job there. Boss's conference there. There's also a Telegram group you can join. New farms are coming. Additional farms are coming to the protocol as well. Yeah, not bad. I'm not sure what that part is there, but that is where we are. In short, sustainability. Cognitive PulseX V2 pair for yield, and short Vox sustainability hinges on deflationary mechanisms, high yield incentives, and economic growth in the Pulse chain. So there we go. But it is a latest farm on Pulse chain and doing pretty well. And only in its second day, too. Only in its second day. All right. In fact, how many hours have it been running? 2 days. Sorry, third day. It says here 2 days and 18 hours ago it's been running. So there we go. 2 days and 18 hours. Got to get that right, don't I? Got to get that right. All right. So kind of cool. If you want to read the rest of MV's post, I'll post that in the chat there too. So you can check that out. We've got Please Chameleon in the house there. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Finvestor, remember saving on Pulse chain. Yeah, well, that ecosystem is definitely doing pretty well. We have covered that a couple of weeks ago with MV, but that's doing very well indeed. So well done to you guys there, doing well there, especially in the current climate. Love you all, says Please Chameleon. Hey, thanks so much. And on behalf of everybody else. Oh, there we go. All right, so that's MV's post there if you want to read the rest of the details on that. And he can probably help you out as well if you need a bit more clues on that one. He's a member of our community. All right, very cool. That leads us into you go SWAT. We're going into Titanx, and of course Titanx is all the buy and burns are off, and of course it's facing the downwards spiral of Ethereum price, right? Because the leverage on Ethereum. So let's have a look at the actual value of the buy and burn backing collateral, which is turned off, so it's not being used, and therefore the price is not being offset with that ability. We are in a downtrend, so it's probably the reason why, right? Let's see what that is value. So at the moment, there's 64.9 trillion Titanx in liquid. It's $9.3 million. So 9.3. And the buy and burn in V1, let's go have a look at that. And that is sitting at 8.4. So 8.4 divided by, what was it, 9.8? That gives you just under 86% backing at the moment. Obviously, both of them are going down at different rates. So it's 86% backing. Most tokens out there don't have collateral backing, like a buy and burn, sitting with 4,451 ETH in it. So that is, it makes Titanx a bit different. But at the moment, it's just been bleeding out on a long-term downtrend. So it's been pretty brutal as well. So the hyper-deflationary narrative never played out. But it's got big buy and burn to fight another day, right? And of course, it's also got the omni-chain narrative going forward, and then maybe hyperdeflation plays a role. So at the moment, we're down at 6 zeros, 1438, and we're pretty much down at all-time lows. The last time we were here was the first time we printed something like this back on the 19th of April 2024, and we're basically right back there. So that's the second time we've been down at this level. and if we broke this level here, it would be a new all-time low, right? So 1425, we're currently at 1438, so we're pretty close to 1425, and we'd be pretty much down at a new below that. So pretty much teetering on a new lows there. Now, in terms of the ETH ratio, which is pretty important, we're also actually doing a lot better, relatively speaking. I mean, the worst time we ever had was back here on the 20th of April, and the ratio was 10 zeros, 5,061. We're still at 10 zeros, 7,612. So we're about 50% above the all-time low there at the moment. So still okay on the ETH ratio, but it's been brutal, right? I mean, it's pretty frank. And of course, Jake has disappeared, but he says he's developing for the omni-chain strategy, and the buy and burn has been turned off, and Eric's been pretty quiet as well. I think they've popped into Telegram every so often, or Eric pops in a reasonable. I think Jake's only popped in a couple of days ago. So just going to be patient with this one, and of course wait for the bleed out, and then buy for the wave 3 with the buy and burns hopefully turned on at some stage. I just don't know what he's going to do with that V1. He may just hold it for a long time. It's hard to tell. You may just wait for Ethereum to really start rallying, and then it'll be worth tens of millions of dollars, and then you start to use it, which makes the most sense. Got to use it at some stage. Can't just always have it there for perpetual collateral. So we'll see where he heads there with that one. All right, and of course the omni-chain development also is going to be big on base chain. We know there's probably 10 or plus protocols going over there. DragonX at the moment has dropped off there. It was sitting around 8 Titanx. It's now at 6.87. That is down 70% at the moment. And of course the buy and burns turned off for that as well. It's got about, or had about $2 million. Obviously ETH's gone down in value. We got X28 is sitting at 0.86 Titanx. So that was actually closing up a little bit, remember? Was it like 0.92 or something? That has dropped off again as well. So that's the omni-chain version of Titanx, down 14%. Shogun, which is going to go omni-chain, that is down 13% at the moment. So that's still just ticking away with the perpetual auctions, the buy and burns, etc., and the LP weaving, which will be on the low side at the moment because the volume is only $3,600. So it'll be pretty low weaving benefit there. But it is going omni-chain in the future. Hyper and Hydra, of course, have been pretty much minted out. But DragonX, their ratio has definitely dropped. It was 0.1, now 0.07. So it's dropped about 30%, and the price is down 31%. But essentially all the stuff's minted out, but the buy and burns are turned off, right? So we can also do that exercise over here and go check out the liquid value. So we've got the stats, check out the liquid value. We can see that the liquid value is $485,000. So 485, and the buy and burn balance is sitting at 381,000. So 381 divided by, what do we say, 485, and that is 78, almost 79% backing with the buy and burn at the current price levels. So, and all you need that is marginal buying, right? Because that's what gets the market going. You don't need absolute, obviously as the price goes up, it becomes less, relatively speaking. So, but that is kind of where we are. So we've got pretty high backing for Hydra and Hyper, DragonX and Titanx, well, particularly Titanx and Hyper and Hydra, and some degree of backing for DragonX, and they're all turned off at the moment. So obviously they're going to be waiting for the red market to be open, and they get the sentiment changing and going upwards, as well as ETH going up, and as well as omni-chain rollouts happening as well. So there's kind of some of the catalysts moving forward. Volt there at the moment is still holding up pretty well, I think, down 40% today, but the ratio at 8,200. And the Volt's got a huge roadmap, as we talk about. It's got Ouroboros lending collateral. It's got Thunder Vault staking, and of course Bitcoin Genie. But of course, at the moment, no one's launching projects, so to speak, apart from a few tax ones, waiting for the time to be right. Inferno's going omni-chain. Morpheus is supposed to have V3 dexes going over to Pulse Chain and Base, so we'll see. Wait for that. That's my speculation, but that's what we're expecting there because we've already got one on Ethereum. Baby DragonX going over to Base Chain. What else is going on here? Tink Farm, of course, is going to benefit soon from Wyvermex, expected to launch mid-March. In fact, that's coming up pretty soon. We'll see whether it does in 4 days or so. Element 280 is going over to Base Chain, so is Element 369, along with Baby DragonX, and they're all going to be, and Helios, and they're all going to be matched up, I think, with the Uranus. Uranus is still holding up pretty well. The first project on Base Chain, 2x return just on the ratio, so that's actually done pretty well, even though it's down 17% at the moment on the price. It's at the ratio is still 2x on your mint price. So that's doing pretty well. They got the buy and burn parties coming up. They got a lot of stuff with the base influencers developing, so that's looking pretty good. And of course, USDX. Ouroboros there, that is ticking away as well. We've been checking that on this every so often. Super Shadowy's done an amazing job with this, as I always say. And then you got to give credit where credit's due. That's what you got to do. So that's been ticking away pretty well. So let's go over to check out how much is on there at the moment. And let's see here. Bam, bam, bam. Now, we're going to talk about X1 probably in another day, but we haven't heard anything much from Jack Levin about X1 except for the validators and the Zen block still sort of ticking away for their final testnet. So we were expecting it to launch in Q1, and of course we're in March now. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully we'll get some updates from him, but you just never know, right? You just never know. Hopefully he'll move to value creation with the X1 rather than value destruction with all the different tokens that have been minted. All right, so let's have a look at the stats. And we've got 1.35 million there. So still holding up pretty well. I think the high we saw was about 1.96 million, and it's holding up pretty well there at 13 with all the prices down at the moment. Actually, it's doing very well in terms of the tokens. So we've got increased collateral in there today. So we're sitting at about 6.3 trillion Titanx. We've now got almost 6.9 trillion. So that's a really good sign. And DragonX looks pretty similar to yesterday, 382 billion. And if we add in the 4 trillion from the RX minter, that gets us almost to 11 trillion Titanx that has gone in here, which is fantastic. So, and this current climate as well. So hats off to Super Shadowy there. Aggregate health ratio at 188% there as well. And of course, liquidations, some people must be liquidated with the prices going down at the moment. We can definitely see a few in the orange space, but there probably have been a few liquidations on here so far. And there's USDX available for liquidations, 410,000. The staking for, if you got USDX, the staking rate is 322% APR, which is still pretty damn good in this climate. So, not doing a pretty good job there. Now, obviously, we're expecting new collaterals to come up. So if we go to the RX minter, USDX minter, sorry, we only got Titanx and DragonX. We are expecting ETH Vault and potentially ETH Vault and RRX to come in there, right? So this is what we're expecting to come in at the moment. So that is what's happening in the Titanx ecosystem. Obviously, we haven't really had an update from Jack Levin around X1, so we're waiting for that too, because that's going to be the first fork of Solana, and it's going to have all the bells and whistles on it, right? Like Eigenlayer and stuff like that. So it's going to be a pretty incredible protocol coming up there as well. We've got Marcus in the house there, Vox and Toshi Eco. Gotta love, and Diz for all, says Marcus there. There we go. So Vox is the talk of the town at the moment, along with Finvestor ecosystem on Pulse Chain, and we saw that in the charts earlier, doing pretty amazing there, and of course getting nice drips there from the investor volumes. Kind of cool. All right, so that's 48 minutes on the hour. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. We've covered a bit of everything, and if you haven't joined our Discord, become part of our community. We've got a lot of cool people. We've got people that love investing, people that love speculating, and of course people that love a lot of other topics like politics and sports and stuff like that. Get in there. It's a great place to be, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. All right, I will catch you on the next show. Take care, everybody, and bye for now. Peace out.